Hey guys, my name is Mel and I am back with another action camera review. Now, I'm all about saving money and I am sure you are too. Everybody knows that the king of action cameras are GoPros. But who wants to spend all that money on that little camera? Alright, I give in. I have them all. But anyway, now with all of that in mind, let me introduce to you the DB Power 4K action camera. First things first, I've picked up a lot of action cameras, and in my venture to look for the perfect budget action camera, I've noticed that when you pick up the box, it's pretty light. But right off the bat, when I picked up this one, it's got some weight to it. I don't normally like starting with the camera, but since it's the most easily accessible, here it is in the case. Take off that little plastic thing, we don't want that on there. This is your typical GoPro mount. Actually, the buckle is on backwards, but whatever. Looks like it's got a touch screen. 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons. And it turned on. Take it out of the case and see what we got. USB, HDMI, okay. Up and down arrow. And a battery. It's 1050 milliamps. Not too bad. See if it turns on. Oh, low battery, turned off. Alright, let's get to the rest of what's in the box and then we'll charge it up and see what we got. Box full of mounts. Looks like you got your traditional GoPro-like buckle mount with a 1/4-20 tripod screw on the bottom. Some cheap looking tape. Definitely a GoPro knockoff of a buckle. Bike mount. An arm and a thumb screw. A tripod adapter for the GoPro on both sides. A smaller arm and thumb screw. This looks like I guess it's their version of the skeleton housing for this camera with a 1/4-20 tripod mount on the bottom and the top. Look at that. Look at another battery. It attaches to this skeleton housing back here, so you can kind of clip it on you. Interesting. And another small arm and a thumb screw. This is a pretty hefty user manual. Extra stickers, microfiber cloth, some zip ties, and it looks like they've included a leash. For those of you that don't know, you attach a leash like this to the arm or the little mount, this part on the camera, and then attach it to another thumb screw on the end of your selfie stick or whatever you're mounting it to, so if this part right here breaks off, it's still holding on. Huh. Pretty nice feature there. Some Velcro. I'm not sure what this is, but maybe it's their attempt at a helmet mount. Extra back door. That's closed. This one is has 2 open slots, I guess, to try to make the sound better. A USB to And there you have it, everything that's in the box. All right, let's charge this up and we'll be back. Whew. So now that we've got this camera out of the box, let's take a closer look at it, shall we? I was misled by the weight of the box. Actually, it was the packaging that had some weight to it, not the actual camera. The camera itself is pretty light, and it's actually made out of some kind of cheap plastic. And before I get to this case, I want to talk about something else. So when you're looking at the camera here, when you switch to the different modes and you get to the setting here, you look at the resolution. And when you select the resolution, it has here your full HD, that's 1080p. And then it has QHD at 30 frames per second. And it says here the resolution is 2560 by 1440. So sounds an awful lot like 2.7K. And then when you get up here to the top, it says ultra high definition, which to everybody else is 3840 by 2160. But here in this camera, it says 2880 by 2160. But when I plugged it into the computer there, it showed me a 16 by 9 video. Here you turn on the gyroscope, which I am assuming is the stabilization in this camera. However, there's another option here that also talks about stabilization, which is anti-shake. I have both of these on. The ability to have the image stabilization is available also in 4K, which in some of these action cameras, it's not even an option unless you're using 1080p. Scrolling down some more, and I was looking at this record audio. I have it selected as on. Obviously, I want to hear sound when I'm recording, but there were a couple times when I was using this camera when it was taking the video but not the audio. Now when the audio works, actually this camera does a pretty good job of syncing the audio to what you're actually seeing, which is not very common in some of these cheaper kinds of cameras, so I was pleasantly surprised about that one. And it talks to you. So this is a test of the DB Power 4K action camera. Currently in its 4K mode, and this is what you'd expect to see in sort of low lit situation, and the audio hopefully is recording. Low power. Before this thing shuts off, I want to see what it sounds like in the case. Video start. Hopefully the image quality is alright. If you can't hear me at all out of this video, you'll be hearing the sound out of my external recorder. So, what does it sound like? Is it any good? So after playing it back, you can see the audio quality without the case. It's okay, it's not great, but for the price of the camera, I think you're getting a really good deal. In the case, however, totally different story. It's a little bit windy right now, but it's a good chance to test and see what it sounds like outside when it's windy. As you can see right now, I have a little bit of a limp. It's a good way to test out stabilization. Now the menu is pretty easy to use, but after using it for a couple minutes, I'd have to say that it's pretty easy to learn how to use. Now would I recommend this for a beginner looking for a budget-friendly camera? Absolutely. The picture isn't that bad. The image stabilization it could be a little better, but it's a whole lot better than a camera that doesn't have it. Now, if you spend a couple extra dollars and you have a gimbal, so I think this was a decent find. Anyway, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you've used this camera, let me know how it worked out for you. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.